Hello viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Computer Wednesday, we're going to talk about Lenovo Legion Go. So let's dive deep into it. So what exactly is this puppy? Well, this puppy is a competitor to ROG Ally. It looks similar to basically Steam Deck or even Nintendo Switch. However, its target audience is directly the people who are gonna buy ROG Ally. So ROG Ally is market competitor, so to say. And it has the same CPU and iGPU. Now they are saying, and this I personally hate from bottom of my heart, is up to AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme Edition. Z1 is there, Z1 Extreme is there. Now up to as means you have to buy the highest one, and there is a good risk that the price that they are sharing right now when I'm making this video is not for the highest end. So they generally do that, companies will do that. So they will show up to let's say 12 GB of RAM in phone, and there's a starting price at $400. They're like, then you go to buy it, it's like, no sir, that is at $800. So it's one of those things. And it has 8.8-inch display, which is the biggest USP of this puppy, as in like it's genuinely big, meaning you can actually use this puppy as a proper tablet and get some stuff done. So, and resolution is also high. So from a desktop point of view, like, can you use it as a desktop? Even in that screen, yes, it has very high resolution to 2560 multiplied by 1600. So it's tangibly good. And it's also very fast, 1400, basically 1440, 144 hertz, as in like more than 120 hertz. So it's really fast. And the one key advantage this puppy has is that it goes up to 16 gigabyte, more or less the same as everybody else. However, it goes up to 7500 megahertz. Be mindful, DDR5 spec has a starting point and then it goes LOL. So this is very close to the LOL. So low power DDR5X. So it's very fast. Now, does that RAM matter here? Yes, once we have polished a driver brick by brick, it's keep getting polished. This will have a bigger and bigger impact simply because there is no dedicated GPU which has its own VRAM. So the RAM is shared between the CPU and GPU. So fundamentally that means everything has to go through one pipeline. Going through that pipeline simply means the fatter the pipe, the easier the transaction would be. So for that reason, having this extra megahertz on top of all your competitor, if you polish it well, does translate to real FPS. That's good. Or even if it does not give you real FPS, it does many times does help you to make sure that dip that happens whenever your game reaches a certain heavy load section, that dip does not go as low. So really good. It does have starts from 512 gigabyte PCIe Gen 4 SSD. So really good. They're not cutting cost. Basically, they know what they're doing. They're not even trying to cut cost. They're like, dude, we're gonna give you a Hall effect sensor from day one. Don't even like, this is expensive device, and they know it's an expensive device. And they can expand it to up to 2 terabytes of micro SD. I genuinely have no idea why the heck people have this brain damage where it's like, are we gonna put micro SD in tiny things? I'm like, it's huge. You can put full-size SD card. Full-size SD cards are cheaper, and they even come in faster bus interfaces, meaning you can buy UHS 2, which is very fast. Like every camera has have that, so it's much cheaper, much higher speed. But we are like, no, we're gonna use micro SD. Why? It's huge. You have empty space. So that does bother me. It's like all these big devices, like giant ass tablet, it's like micro SD card. How about you use the full size SD card? It's still available. It's not like it's not being manufactured. Heck, highest speed is available on full size card. Why? It's used in cameras. So that does bother me, but at least I'm happy they are using the full spec. Full spec as in SDXC only goes up to 2 terabytes. So they are like, hey, SD, as long as we have that, you're gonna be sorted. So this is what we are talking about here. So what about the design? So design has like more similar to basically Steam Deck rather than ROG Ally. ROG Ally is trying to go with dual fan design to keep the noise low and also help basically dissipate, not create hotspot. So they are not going in that direction. They have one huge fan. Now again, one bigger fan is better than two smaller fans, but that also comes with some caveats. So they are going with this approach. So they also have detachable controller exactly like Steam Deck, exactly like Nintendo Switch, and left side has an optical mouse. And generally that's the only reason you should even bother about this. Some people would enjoy like putting the monitor down and having two independent head, but most people will prefer having it a locked system. It does not have that cradle yet. They might release it, but it's not designed for that, so I doubt that they will do that. So then what's the point having it two separate things? Well, not really. All I can see is like you can connect it to the TV and use it as a remote. But there is a one interesting thing on the one side of it, left side of it, that it has this puppy inside on the bottom of it, meaning you turn it on to FPS mode, it gives you optical mouse, as in simple or direct optical mouse. It's not calculation or something. No, it's a flat out optical mouse. So if you are traveling, let's say on an aeroplane, you put it there, you use that tray to a little mouse, and you can actually just play. You can play FPS. One hand would be your AWSD, another would be mouse to aim. And people have find it quite useful. And be mindful, it's like once your muscle memory triggers, oh, it's just a mouse, funny looking mouse, you should be able to regain your muscle control. So that's one unique approach to it. It's unique, I will give them that. Is it practical? I do not know. For in some scenarios I can easily see it that this will be like shut up, take money, but not that much. But to each their own. It does have integrated smooth sand. Again, everything about this design is just like, hey, we know this is, we cannot make it super cheap, so why not just make it expensive and high quality. So it does have integrated stand, and this stand has smooth section, meaning it's not going tuk, 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 big steps. It has enough smoothness that is actually useful. Really good, as in like it's not the cheapest stand they could think of. It's like somebody put thought into it. And it also has top and bottom USB-C. Really does not have that awkward issue of where Steam Deck only has one top. So really thoughtful design went into it. And it does have power bypass mode. Now you're like, is that important? Well, many Android phones nowadays do have that. Not all, but many do. Even a ROG series Android phone does have that. Now benefit of that is like once your Android phones is no longer cutting edge, you may want to use your Android phone as something else, maybe a remote server, maybe a camera setup, whatever have you, DVR. You can do many things with an old Android phone. However, biggest issue is you cannot keep your mobile devices which has a battery connected all the time. It will swell up the battery and damage it. So to protect that, you have to have a circuitry that disconnects it. So thankfully this puppy has that. Now many Android phones have that. Not all, but some do. Specifically ROG that I know, personally know, that it does have that. This also has that, meaning in future when this device is not latest and you may have bought another portable device, you can connect it and use it like just a desktop for a very long duration. It's really useful. Heck, this could be a touchscreen keyboard, and you can have like a normal mouse and a big monitor connected to it. So it's a really smart thing which makes sure this puppy can be used for much longer duration, rather than being like, oh, we have to open this up, remove the battery, and then just put some weird circuitry there so it tricks the circuit that there is voltage present, and then it works. You have to do that much if this is not built there. So I'm really happy that somebody thought of it. It's like, what if we just want to use this as a portable desktop? Now, like portable desktop meaning you are moving from A to B, like, college dorm room and things of that nature. Not portable as in like on the move. So this is the design of it. Quite smart. So what about the performance? Now the biggest performance difference between this puppy and a ROG Ally is the RAM. So be mindful, ROG Ally when it was released, it had a different sort of oomph. Compared to what they have now, it's a bit more mature, a bit more polished. It's exactly like how PS3 was launched, and PS3 at the end of its life cycle, it was much more powerful. It was not the hardware change, it's simply the softwares became much more efficient with it. Same will happen here. This is more or less like a console, and because there is two manufacturers and giant companies working at it, which includes Microsoft and includes AMD, and not to mention these people will also try their best to make sure the drivers are polished. We can see some extra oomph extracted in quite soon, because ROG literally went through some major driver updates and people were like, tangible improvements. Screen can go up to 500 nits brightness. Now 500 nits in modern flagship phone does not sound that good, but it's not bad. And be mindful, this is 8-inch puppy. Yeah, 500 nits at 8-inch consumes battery like there is no tomorrow. 50 watt-hour battery is big, but not that big. So I think this was a limitation that they came up with. Like, it's more than good enough, but do not expect to be like, whoa, in broad sunlight. Now resolution, this is the interesting part. Because they are choosing such weird resolution, it does have that benefit. 2560 multiplied by 1600 gives them the luxury of 4:1 compression. What does that mean? 4:1 simply means you take one pixel, you repeat it 4 times. No mathematical calculation needed to be done. Whenever you scale an image, and if it's not 4:1, 16:1 things in that way, it always comes with a penalty. It's like, how the heck you actually scale it? You don't. You scale it virtually, then you stretch it. That's what we call either downsampling or upscaling. Both of them requires computation power. It's not easy if it's not complete number like this. So 4 to 1 is a complete number, meaning if you're playing the game here and you're like, you know what, I don't need that much eye candy on 8-inch screen, but I would love to have high FPS. You're like, okay, go to game, go to this resolution, which is almost all games support because it's a very old legacy standard that we still use. So it's a known system. Every game has this. Go there, boom, and it will not look blurry or smeary. That happens if you do not have this number correct, nor it will have computational bot overhead because it's complete number, complete integer, 4 to 1. Don't think about it. GPU is like, I got this. So that's a very clever way. So for people who want to use this as a tablet, desktop tablets and all that, they will enjoy the high resolution. People who want to game, if they are playing a sightseeing game, they will enjoy the high resolution. If they are like, hey, I want high FPS, they will enjoy 4 to 1 scaling. So it's a bit smart and it does give them a bit of an edge for other people. Other people cannot just downscale to whatever they need to, nor they can upscale to high resolution. So it's a clever way of using it. And what kind of game settings you can expect? Well, mid setting in all AAA title that is available right now. I'm not talking about anything that's going to come out, everything that is available right now. So this is the controllers and there's the AMD. So what about games? Now this is the most critical aspect. I used to be a 3D game artist, so I have worked in some games. Let me tell you, almost all game studios will have a dev kit. Now PC dev kits do not exist because there is so much variety that lol. And that's the primary reason why games generally come first for consoles. It's easier to develop for them. Like we'll get a call from Microsoft. Microsoft will be like, hey, do you want a game console? Yeah, we are developing Call of Duty. You're gonna get this. We plug it in computer, run a command script and all that jazz, and voila, we are directly running our system. So every dip is calculated for, and we make sure the dip never goes down. And then we'll keep pushing it up as long as the dip is not below 30. So we develop it for that. However, be mindful, if you have fixed hardware, even the most ill-optimized game, if you give them like, hey, let's say whatever game that you can think of, it's like, hey, this is not a very optimized game. You give them a target hardware, like make this game run on this hardware, it can be polished to like, whoa. If you ever wondered why iPhone games in early days was like so much better compared to Android, the primary reason was that it was one hardware. You buy iPhone, you don't think about it. Every developer, game studio developers bought it, developed for it, and voila. Android, they had to like, which generation of Snapdragon, sir? Snapdragon 700, Snapdragon 800, Snapdragon 400, Snapdragon 500. You do not want that. So having this sort of ecosystem in PC world does give ecosystem. If these things are selling like hotcakes, which they are, this puppy sold in millions, this will soon hit million. This again, we are still expecting it to sell million. So we are talking some serious player base. And again, if you are buying a gaming device, you are a player, and you're buying something this expensive, you have money. So that gives them serious incentive, meaning I can easily expect in the future outsourcing studios and all that, they will have multiple of these and they'll try to run their game. It's in their best interest. So that's a really good thing. Now, Steam is best in that regard. Why? Everything about this puppy is fixed, meaning the CPU fixed, GPU fixed, RAM fixed, and Game Studio can just literally buy a Steam Deck out off the shelf and just run their game. They have the deal with anti-cheat software hassle, and they have to deal with the compatibility layer of Linux, but it's doable. It's not impossible. And many times they might just port the game for Linux. So it can be done. People are doing it. The games on launch day, it was like, now they're like, okay, I can see potential, and more and more games are becoming, good game. I'm gonna have fun with it. Basically, you do not want to think about the hardware, and this is slowly reaching there. Then same comes ROG Ally and Lenovo. Both of them are horrible. I have no idea who created this brain virus. That entire of humanity is like, what if we have 10,000 options? It's like you're gonna have garbage. Nothing else. All we're gonna have is garbage. The CPUs on them can change. The RAM option on them can change. That means any game studio, all they're gonna do, can you buy the cheapest, crappiest, basically ROG Ally? They're gonna buy it and they're gonna develop for it. They're like, can you buy the cheapest, crappiest Legion? Yeah, they're gonna buy it and develop for it. And if you ever wondered why the heck games don't actually use the 1490 that you have, is the primary reason is developed for the lowest denominator. So if the game console, the lowest game console that I have to legally develop for is, let's say, Xbox 360, yeah, everything would be designed such a way that it runs on 360. We may increase the texture pack, but don't expect too much. So that's why like these are not awesome, but compared to a raw PC, this is like shut up, take money. Every game studio will be like shut up, take money. And if they are making certain type of arcade game and they know that people who are in this sort of crowd, they will buy it. They may spend time like optimizing for everything. So it does have some hassle of having random CPUs, random GPUs, as in like CPU and core scales ups and down. That's why it has that Z extreme up to. It's not like Z extreme. It's like up to Z extreme. It's like, why you have up to? Oh, you have a crappier CPU available. So it does have some drawback compared to this puppy, but still leaps and bounds ahead compared to all other basically desktops, so to say. So if these sell like hotcakes, like let's say 10 million is reached between them, I can guarantee you many gaming studios, they will be like, hey, let's just invest a little bit into this. And I can guarantee you AMD team will be working their ass off to polish the drivers. So this is a very good thing. And be mindful, the lowest in them will be the common denominator. So right now, if these three goes into a studio, this will become the denominator. So this is the game side of things, basically how these things can grow and evolve as a PC gaming device. So this all leads to competition. Now Steam console is like just a console. It's like, it looks like a PC, quacks like a PC, but it's a console because Linux is not a common to everyday people kind of thing. It's for Linux admins and server people every day, but for majority of people either it's Mac or Windows. For that reason, it's more closer to a console, and because Valve is working on it actively as an OS layer, it's more or less console. So it's most PC-like console they have, and they have Steam team polishing it, because again, developers are not working on that. Developers are like, again, if they are like, hey, hundreds of people and thousands of people are buying it, then they will like, you know what, let's buy one device and polish it. But most of the time is Valve team that is porting the games. The Valve team is fixing the compatibility layer. So it's on Valve's team to sort that puppy out. When you're talking about Asus, what they are doing is basically a laptop that is acting as a game controller. So it's just a laptop SoC. Everything is just like a laptop packaged differently. It does give you PC's game library. That means the biggest library ever, meaning you take Nintendo, you take Xbox, you take PlayStation, combine all of them. That may make 4 or 5% of the game available on PC. So more than enough. And it does have consequence of that. Windows hassle, meaning Microsoft, unless Microsoft sees enough people buying that and becoming a big deal where they were like, Microsoft, can you please have a small team inside your Microsoft Windows division that they are polishing it for touchscreen that is running in this sort of hardware? Unless that happens, Microsoft will be lol. So that's a hassle. That's pro library, con the Windows hassle. Now, Windows gaming is becoming basically back in fashion. Now, it was going out of fashion simply because of the price hikes. Price were going stupid. Like when I was young, as in like I studied in class 10, before that, 7, 8 and all that, I looked into magazines, chip magazines, and that time 50,000 Indian rupees were like, you're gonna get a good system. My current system that I bought after 10 years, that puppy costed me 2,25,000, like 250K. That's a lot of money I had to spend. And again, it's a PC. It's gonna be outdated in quite a while. And you were like, on inflation and all that, not that much. Like, it's a PC. It should be getting cheaper. It's the only thing that's supposed to get cheaper. It did not. And the primary reason for that is pandemic. Pandemic showed companies like Nvidia is that all of you are stupid and none of you have enough control over yourself, where it's like, a scalpel is charging 300% more than MSRP. How about I just apply brake? Because it's a device. You're going to throw this away. Like right now, you may be orgasming over that, but you're going to throw it away after a few years. So what if I apply brakes? Because it's not worth this price. It's 100%. It's a good deal. Okay, you think it at 100% is good? Awesome. 110%, no, it's not going to go up in value. It's not Rolex. It's not Ferrari. It's not going to go up in value, but people bought it. And Nvidia was like, they started orgasming. It's like people are selling their kidneys to buy this. How about I increase the price? So I blame everybody who bought GPUs during the price gouging. If all of them were just like, hey, how about no? Nvidia still would have won, because they would have been like, yay, more demand. Awesome. We would have won. Hey, GPUs. Only thing we would have lost is bit of time. 5 months maximum. We are just like, but everybody is like, people were paying. I'm not joking, people were paying. So that created an issue. Now, this sort of consoles things, they solve a bit of issue, because let's say tomorrow's 5000 series NVIDIA GPUs are like $800, and somebody's like, hey, either spend $800, get one component of one PC, or buy a whole system that has everything. You just take it and go. So for that reason, having this sort of system is really desirable. having a whole computer that is competent as a gaming device, not like amazing, let that be very clear, but competent, where it's like, hey, it works, it's more than good enough. And be mindful, what we are considering today garbage is like people were having orgasms over it in Microsoft basically 360 era and PS2 era. More than good enough. And bad is not like, whoa, it's hyper bad. It's like, I'm not getting 120 fps. So basically, if I connect on this 4K 120 hertz HDR Dolby Vision certified display, yeah, then it's like, bro. But at handheld, it's like every nerd's dream device. So it's a really good thing that's happening. And I hate every one of you that bought in this era. I hate you. Personally, from bottom of my heart, I hate you. So this was the competition part. I'm happy about it. At least prices are like, and again, if enough people are like just GPU prices, like Nvidia 5000 is like, we're gonna charge $50,000. And everybody's like, you know what? Me good. I'm just gonna buy a freaking console now. And instead of buying a console, they've been like, hey, Windows console. So everybody wins in that regard, and they may have to tone down the price. So I'm happy with this. So this was my presentation on Lenovo Legion. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst a friend. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.